To call our regular council meeting of Tuesday, December 12th to order, respectfully acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Kaga people, so Gilakesa. I would like to add a motion for grant and aid from share towards a project invoice under item F, new business.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Councillor Dorward, seconded by Councillor Texmo. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. So we have the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held November 28th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Dorward, seconded by Councillor Councillor Tidbury. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Minutes of the regular council meeting held November 28th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Texmo. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have no delegations. We have business arising from the minutes and unfinished business. Our council action item report for November 28th for information. Councillor Dorward.
Fantastic to see all this action on everything. It's like wrapping up the year with a little list, I think.
I agree. So thank you very much. Okay, under new business, we have a motion from our committee of the whole about doing a 1/3 share of administrative services to support the Sinala Culturally Supportive Housing Society. Moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Robertson. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. One thing under new business, which I didn't put on in the agenda, but I do want to say welcome to our new Director of Operations, Jason Jacinto. So that is news. So looking forward to working with you, and thank you for coming to our community. Moving to our community before you even got hired.
Great. Thank you for the warm welcome.
So thank you very much. Okay, moving on, we have under correspondence from the Honorable Anne Kang, Minister for Municipal Affairs from the Union of BC Municipalities. Minister meeting follow-up for information. Any comments? Okay.
I just want to comment that while she said no, she did provide a little more information and a little more actually directed at us than all of these other letters. Where the other ones were really form letters. But anyways, so I do appreciate that.
Yes.
She provided some additional direction.
She did say no at the time too, essentially.
Yes, she did.
It was not a surprise, but.
That's okay. I mean, to give some options.
Yes, yeah.
Deal with.
Nice.
So a letter
That's
of
helpful.
thank you maybe is in order,
No,
maybe?
maybe not.
Oh.
We'll just leave it. So from the Honorable Brenda Bailey, Minister of Jobs, Economic Development, Innovation, again from our UBC 2023 Minister meeting follow-up for information. Very succinct letter, kind of like our meeting.
Missed the ongoing part.
Yes. From the Honorable Ravi Cohen, Minister of Housing, about the new legislation to support local government housing initiatives for information. Any comments? Sorry, Councillor.
Well, this might be what we were about to say here, going back, but this seemed to all pertain to urban areas and nothing to do at all with our area.
That being said, I suspect the rural areas are just going to be hit maybe in another few more months. So I think we should be prepared that we're going to have to look at doing something for housing as well. And I think too, we should consider maybe sending a letter to the Premier about downloading onto municipalities on so many different things that are really not municipality responsibilities.
I'm actually,
Yes,
yeah, I'm okay with that, but it would be, I think, more in response to something that we can actually see happening to us at the time, as opposed to something we think might happen.
okay.
So I don't just,
Keep it in the back of your minds.
To be able to provide specificity to the
Yeah,
complaint.
and this is how it.
Yeah. okay. From the Honorable Jennifer Whiteside, Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, again, from our UBC 2023 meeting for information.
One thing I found interesting in that, she's talking about that Safe Communities Action Plan and the mobile and peer, what they call assisted care team. And it said that we should maybe contact the Canadian Mental Health Association on that PACT, just to talk about, you know, the possibilities of getting something like that in our area.
So we did reach out to Mental Health and Addictions, and they circulated amongst their team and their members, and so far I haven't heard anything back from them about the possibility of doing it. Perhaps that could be something that might be talked at the situation table that's going to be doing a big meeting in January.
Just actually, Dennis, well, how is that different from, and help me with the name, I'm just blanking on the name, current team that,
It's called the
Oh,
Mobile
This one's a
Integrated
mobile
Crisis
team. And,
Response Team.
the one exists in town right now.
Sacred place to play.
No,
No,
sure.
it's a team.
ICE team, or,
It's that team, what do they call
yeah,
Find another acronym.
It is another.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
yeah.
So
I know what
it's separate.
it's different altogether. This would be like a mobile unit, whereas that one, I agree, it's mobile, but this is another funding
Yeah.
and another
it?
has
It's
a
a different one.
different one. Okay, from Kelly Green, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship, from PBCM, Ministry follow-up for information.
Pat, oh, Mayor, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Yeah, with regards to that, I thought it was pretty interesting that it talks about that there's going to be a new opportunity to meet with local governments, to talk about the new role that the ministry got. And I think that it would be great to reach out to them and say, okay, when are we gonna have the opportunity to be a part of those conversations? Because they keep talking about it all the time. They said the changes were made in October 2023, new water management functions for that. And it talks about a lot of different things with regards to that thing, and I was hoping that they always say they're gonna reach out, but sometimes we never hear about it. So I think sometimes we gotta be a little bit proactive and ask when we are gonna have an opportunity to sit down and talk about it.
Councilor Robertson.
Yeah, not that I don't think it's a good idea to sit down and talk, but with the split between Ministry of Forests and FLNRO becoming two separate ministries, it was a technical issue there was nothing new created. Just responsibilities of one ministry have all moved over. They didn't create new responsibilities, I think, they just moved them around, and I think that's my understanding.
Okay, it'd be nice to hear from them about that.
So would you like to request that we reach out to the Parliamentary Secretary to have a meeting?
I would like that, yes, thank you. Can we do that?
We could do that.
And we
We could
can
ask, recommend the staff to do that.
And the Ministry of Forest building now in Port.
They're taking
Yeah.
note.
And
Taking notes, yeah.
Andrew can make this and.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Staff reports, we have from the Finance Department, November 2023 check and EFT lister report for information. Any comments? We have from our CAO, Heather Nelson Smith, read the cannabis licensing and retail application, number 47210 Market Street. And we have a recommendation, our CAO Nelson Smith. Would you like to speak to this, please?
Excellent, thank you, Worship. So we did have an application for a retail cannabis store, number 47210 Market Street, to be operated by 100% Cannabis. So we did, as part of the referral process, when we receive it from the Liquor and Cannabis branch, what ends up happening, just to kind of give everybody an idea as to how it works, is an applicant makes an application to the LCRB for a cannabis or liquor license. When it's gone through the vetting process, we then get a referral from the LCRB to let us know that an application has been made and that it's met that pre-determination stage, at which point then the district needs to then conduct a review of the residents that could be affected within the area, which in our policy we currently do through a sign that is posted, especially in an area where we have mixed residential opportunities in the downtown core, where a lot of those people would be tenants and they wouldn't actually be owners. So therefore sending notices to the owners would be mute. So we did have them post a sign. That sign was up on the wall from November the 9th going forward. And then what we did is we actually the applicant actually came to us ahead of time and told us that they had intended to put in an application. We did confirm the buffers at that point in time, and you will notice that I did include within my staff report kind of how we determined the buffers, the public hearing from way back in 2018, and how we, sorry, 18, thank you, where we actually came up with the buffers after the recommendations were made. So we struck a committee at that time, just kind of gives council just a refresher as to how we kind of got to this point and how we got to the buffer zones. So the buffers are actually not calculated by a line of sight. It's calculated by the actual walking distance from the property line to the front door. And in this case, we actually did it to the front door because it's a mixed commercial building. And so we had two buffers that we had to take into consideration, one being the playground at Rotary Park. So there was 113 meters to the doorway from the edge of the property line, walking up to Market Street and then along Market Street to the front. And then it's 100 meters from the public library. And so in this case, just go to the next page so I can remember exactly how much it is. It's 167 meters from the library, or from the public library to this location. We did receive some comments with regards to the opposition to the buffer requirements. And so as part of the comment process, the LCRB does require that we do take a role in assessing the residential impact. In this particular case, we did get it from a local business, but we did count it in this comment period. It was the only one that we did receive by the 6th of December. And so the posed questions were the buffer zones and the calculation of the sight lines to proposed cannabis location in Rotary Park. And you will notice that there's a couple of photographs that are also included in that to kind of show what the sight lines are. And those are from the comment. And then in terms of how we did the calculation, so just to kind of go back in time, when we approved the other cannabis store, it was actually roughly within about 113 meters of the library. And if we had have actually measured directly straight across, we would have been about 93 meters from the front door of the library to the front door of Pacific Canada. This one here, we're looking at about 86 meters if we were to go straight from the front door of 100% Cannabis to the park. So roughly about the same kind of distance going forward. Then the other comment that was received was about the proximity to each other. And while the LCRB does give us the authority to have council decide whether or not you have so many within a certain proximity, so in this particular case, way back when, we actually talked to the committee, and the committee did talk about whether or not we would have a buffer of, let's say 300 meters between stores, right? So that you didn't have one right next to each other, one right across the street from each other. But then at the end of the day, we went, well, what if we got two applications at the exact same time? How are we going to govern that? Like, what are we going to end up doing? So we're going to end up potentially with a situation where we have a discrepancy between the applicants. And given the concerns that were brought forward at that time to council, that was a major concern, because it was also the number of applications was also considered as well, limiting how many we could actually have in the district, and then also the buffers between each other. So those were actually taken out of the recommendation from the committee to council and was brought forward without the buffers between each other. If council was to direct staff at this point in time to change the buffers, it would not apply to this license because those buffers did exist in the zoning regulation at the time of application, and therefore they wouldn't be covered. Does anybody have any questions about buffers? Did I say it enough times? And then the other part of our process is also to check with the RCMP to gather their concerns, and at this time, they have no concerns with the application. And so the recommendation from staff is that the Port Hardy Council supports the application made by 100% Cannabis to allow for non-medical cannabis retail store known as 100% Cannabis to be located at number 4, 7210 Market Street in Port Hardy.
Can you say it any faster?
Any comment?
Yeah, based on all the information that you provided us, staff, and obviously all the hard work that went into back in June of 2018, having public consultations and having a group that specifically dealt with this, I think that everything that we've got in place right now meets all the requirements, so I'm totally in favor of, and I'll make that motion to accept the staff's recommendation, so I move.
Seconded by Councillor Chicory. Any other comments? So before, would you mind responding to the proponent that has written up to address his concerns?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Tanya Call, Director of Recreation and Community Services, for the use of contractors for New Year's for discussion.
Our New Year's Eve family event, and what a party it's going to be. We have 315 people, excited registrants already. This time we had 311, sorry, 311 people in total. So now we're at 315 and we still have 2.5 weeks to go. So we're taking a maximum of 500 people and we're expecting to get close to 500 people. So we're very excited. With so many activities planned and based on last year's success, there were 2 activities that really stood out for the audience, and that was the face painting and the DJ on ice. So we had a DJ set up with lights, strobe lights, and a sound system and a smoke machine, and it was really quite an electrifying dance atmosphere on the ice. So my report focuses more on the DJ and why hiring a dedicated music person is a worthy investment for this year's bigger and grander event, thanks to our sponsor, the Lions Club. Last year's DJ, Rob Frost, was the hottest commodity on the arena ice floor because of his access to 10 million songs and that catered to a wide range of children from toddlers all the way up to adults. And as one of the dancers on the floor, whoop, whoop. So I witnessed an ongoing steady lineup for 2 hours of people coming in and wanting to play a certain song. And it was really cool how Rob was able to accommodate every request. So everyone walked away happy, and you can see that the children just light up when their song came up. They were running from the stands and, from the bingo station and the craft station, and they were all coming to the ice and they were, singing on the dance floor. And at one point I even handed my microphone over to a gal and she was singing the song. So it really adds to the vibe and just the mood of a party atmosphere, but it's such a family-oriented, well-contained area. So on that note, I think that just the sheer size of this year's event, my recommendation is to hire Rob Frost again, and that's in lieu of the local band Whiskey Jack's not available, as well as the 2 other local DJs in town who are not available. We did approach them, but all 3 were not available. So that's my recommendation, to hire Rob Frost. He comes with his own sound system, his own lighting system. We have been able to use the speakers and smoke machine through the Lions Club, thanks to John. So that's my recommendation. And the face painting, it was such a huge success last year. At every event, we have lineups of kids wanting to have their face painted, but we just don't have the staff capacity this year with so much going on. We have the Civic Center with the bouncy castle and the axe throwing and the sword play. There's so much going on. So we have all hands on deck, but we just don't have a dedicated person to do face painting. So for $100, a flat rate of $100, we're able to utilize a local service and who has done that for us in the past, and we're very excited to have her on board again. So that's my recommendation, to hire the 2 contractors for this year's event.
So under the recommendation, it's to approve the addition of a recreation contracted service under a new service provider agreement to MIABC, permitting one-time contractors to be included as approved into the district's liability insurance. In that the council approved coverage under the above mentioned policy to Robert Frost and Sandra Wilson for the New Year's Eve party. CAO Nelson Smith.
Just to give a bit of context as to the CAO recommendation on that. So, again, I just start off by saying, well, we prefer to utilize existing businesses and people that currently have valid business licenses plus insurance. Each time we get an independent contractor, if we assign them one individual service provider agreement, then we pay $350 per service provider. So speaking to the MIABC, the recommendation from them was for these one-offs to have council endorse having one policy, where then we just have to add people to it as we go. Of course, those would still come back to council for approval because you would be allowing us to take on the liability under the district's coverage in order to have these individuals covered. And so that is why the recommendation is two-part. One, to create a service provider agreement for recreation one-offs, and then the other one is to approve the two individuals to be added to that.
Thank you. Councilor Dorward.
My question is, your recommendation doesn't address the funds. The funds are already budgeted for, that's what I'm reading through the lines? The funds to have the DJ and the face
Correct.
painter?
Yeah,
They're
that's all
already
correct.
budgeted for, because there was gonna be a band or whatever. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's just that. I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Robertson.
Mhm.
Any other comments? All in favor? Okay.
Good year, Tanya,
Yeah,
again.
We're signed up.
that'd be great.
So I just want to say too, I don't know how many times we had, Mr. LaGrosse come to council asking for New Year's Eve party for families. And so I really hope he's able to go to it because this is 2 years and, very cool. So thank you. Under bylaws, bylaw number 1168-2023, amendment to the financial plan 2023-2027 for adoption. Moved by Councilor Smith, seconded by Councilor Dugas. Any comments?
I beat you, Fred.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Bylaw number 1169-2023, revenue anticipation borrowing bylaw for adoption. Moved by Councilor Tidbury, seconded by Councilor Dugas. Any comments? Carried. We have one pending bylaw number 1164-2023. We're just going to wait for verbal reports. Councilor Dugas.
Oh. Hey, listen to this. Hey, Brian. Stay awake.
Yeah. Don't give me coffee.
Yeah, okay, well.
Shall I start?
You're telling
Oh,
me
this
for
is
2
awesome.
minutes, is that what you're doing? Okay, we're done. Okay, whatever. Okay, I was at North Island Regional Emergency Planning meeting. John, obviously, he was nominated again as the chair, and I know Pat was there, the mayor, I should say. And yeah, it was very good. One of the things that I found that was very interesting was Paul Peters. He had a little bit of a talk there talking about communication and the importance of communication, and that using our ham radio people in our area and our communities would be a real benefit, because especially when you lose power, your internet gone, this is gone, and it would be great. So I know that they're gonna be working on something like that moving forward. That sounded pretty exciting, actually, and they talked about different things like, I guess the before and after, the highlights about before and after, and how important it is, and to do the risk assessment. I know that's another big thing that's gonna be on the list, the risk assessment. So, and how do we notify people in remote areas when there's a tsunami coming? Like if you're out in Raft Cove or whatever, I mean, it's very difficult, right? So they're trying to figure out ways and means to be able to do that, which I thought was pretty cool. The Mount Washington Regional District's doing a seaweed industry development plan, and they put it out for proposals. They put it out a couple times already, and it seems like, so the proponents that have been interested have either come with their proposal a little bit less than what they were looking for. And then the other ones was like way more than what we were looking for, and the costs were comparable. Not one very high, one very low, so they're gonna be putting it back out again to be more specific about with regards to, and try to keep it, maintain it within the budget that's allotted. The other thing that's coming up on the 14th, which is this Thursday, we're having our VidTest AGM at the Community Futures in Port Mignel, starting at 8:30. We're gonna have a marketing meeting and then an AGM after that. And one thing that just came up in discussions with Jackie Chalice, our new economic development person at the Mont-Wanship Regional District, and David Kim, is that power outage that we just had on Saturday. 12 hours, which was, in my case, from what I heard, it was a tree. So that's preventable. And so they're putting together a letter now from the regional district to send to BC Hydro and say, here we go, 12 hours, preventable issue, tree on the line. It's not acceptable. I mean, there's a lot of people that got affected, businesses, personnel. I was just thinking about the poor people that came down to the ferry from Bella Bella for the weekend to do their Christmas shopping or whatever. Guess what? They came to a community, no power. Majority of the stores are closed. So I would hope that we, as the District of Port Hardy, could send a letter to and say our displeasure with what's going on and the impacts that it's had on us. So I'm finished. Am I okay? 2 minutes? Oh, sorry. A little over.
But I agree with the letter.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you.
second that.
Do we have to have a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I mean,
Move
Thank
to
you.
write the letter. So the letter is going to be written to BC Hydro, attention Ted Olney, about preventable power outages.
Yeah, hopefully, and also we'll CC that to
Just
our,
Minister.
Oh, will be.
Minister Michelle, and also our Indigenous nations. They need to get a copy of the letter too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Tidbury.
Well, I think I'm gonna be a little longer too.
Oh, set the timer, Fred.
Okay, so, Dennis has, explained about the Regional District Emergency Planning Group, which I am, again, the chair. I thought it was a little bit of a railroad estimate,
It's okay.
but I accepted it anyway. I did VinWag, which is the Vancouver Island Woodlot Association group. And basically, we went over the new standard that's Western Forest Products is going to follow, which is called a PEFC, which is basically Program for Environmental of Forest Certificates, and it's issued by the Pan-European Forest Certificate Council. So, so that's going to be the new code for Western Forest Products. Is that correct, Fred?
It's replacing the Canadian
Yeah.
standards in
They're
terms
the
of
Canadian standards.
forest practices.
I've done an awful lot with the seniors this last few days. Starting out with a generator, which is just about complete, and if it'd been another week, we probably would have
Had power on Saturday.
we would have had power in the building. But we had a really nice tea with Rachel Blaney at the center. And we had Christmas dinner at the hotel. And next week is a bake sale that everybody should attend. And also they had a craft fair too there in the facility. I attended the community coalition. That's the one that you were asking about, Janet, about the, immigrants and people coming into the community and setting them up with the needs and stuff like that. I forgot the name of the gentleman in Port McNeill that's running it, but we've got about 100 clients now. Okay. The other thing, we had the regional transit meeting, and that was held in the back boardroom. And one of the questions I was asking about scheduling of the hospital to hospital routes, and I've sent you all a copy of that now, which was non-existent up until this week. And also this week they'll be doing the contract for the transit between medical clinic appointments down island, and that's what I got told. It's this week.
That's what we got told too.
And that's basically it, I'll say.
Oh, John, I was short.
Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Mayor. November 29th, I attended a webinar. It was hosted by Kitimat First Nation and Kitimat Museum, and it's a collaboration between the town and the nation and coming together and building a brand new museum. They still have to get the money to build it, but I thought that was pretty incredible and some very noteworthy things that we can certainly maybe look to them for as we sort of start thinking about our future. The 29th, we had our finance meeting, and then the power outage kind of wrecked a couple of my events that I was going to attend, so yeah, that's my story. Short and sweet.
Thank you. Councillor Texmo?
Mine is also short and sweet. Done, no. Yeah, finance meeting on the 29th. We're got to be a part of some of the work downtown. I just want to thank the District Port Hardy, all the volunteers, everyone. I'm sure we will at the time. It's beautiful down there and everybody is talking about it. So it's exciting. I'm excited for that. And then I was at the Civic Center on the weekend there. That was a really fun event with tons of vendors, and you get to really see how much local talent there really is up here. It was amazing. And it was packed pretty much almost start to finish. So it was pretty cool. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Councillor Forward?
I'm pretty quiet in my portfolio as well. Of course, at the finance meeting, as everyone else did. Again, another one tomorrow. Thursday's the Festival of Lights. Friday is Rotary Christmas caroling. However, it's currently calling for 30 to 40 mils of rain and winds.
Of course.
Oh, no.
And Santa doesn't really feel up to that. So looking at potentially moving the date, in which case I think I'll have to go to council to just get a re-offer for a different day, but it's up in the air right now, just watching the weather. So stay tuned to the social media channels for the latest and greatest on that. Pardon? We will never forget the beach.
It's on the list.
Our favorite people are at the beach.
Councillor
Park in
Roberts?
front of his house for an hour.
I just want to count myself as one of them.
I'm done. Oh, wait, I actually have a question for Councillor Dugas about, do you think there's a potential for the emergency group to sponsor or coordinate or otherwise somehow host a ham radio operator course? My husband and I went up here for years. Emergency management.
That would be.
It'd be definitely, that was one of the areas that we were dealing with. The people that we have here in the community that are ham radios don't want to be connected with the emergency organization. So there's a missing link there that we need we need to get back
Working together.
working together.
And that was discussed at the meeting.
Okay, I think that would be great for the
Yeah, I think
community.
it'd be awesome.
Those
Yeah.
ham radios can come in handy for all sorts of.
Oh, totally. There's a gentleman from Down Island that comes up and he's got a truck that's just loaded with ham.
Loaded with ham.
Councillor Roberts?
I thought that was good.
Very good.
No meat over here. Same, short, sweet, finance. I went actually to the rep game on Sunday, that the kids won, midgets won, but I was able to go through the civic center too afterwards, and that was very impressive. I was impressed with that. Mostly, the biggest event over the time was the general meeting, Vancouver Island Regional Library General Meeting, where the library board reviewed recommendations from the executive, but reviewed the levy that was coming out to communities. There was some miscommunications about it, and it was larger than anticipated in terms of how it was communicated to the board. But the status quo, what was recommended in the fall and what's come out to communities was essentially endorsed again. So that remains, and it will be high for a number of different reasons that I've talked about. As a result, a new auditor has been appointed. And I think the person, I should say, responsible for our account is one Leslie France, who is from town. So that's kind of cool. That was kind of cool this year. And they're establishing a finance committee as well. Some of that. So yeah, if you have any questions about, I suspect they'll come tomorrow during the budget discussions. So thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. So, I went to the North Island Regional Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting. Oh my goodness, such an acronym.
That's an
Thank you.
acronym and a half.
And, Counselor, oh my goodness, Counselor Tidbury, sorry, John. Counselor Tidbury had said that it's more a getting together of members and talking and learning about different organizations do, like the Coast Guard and all the rest of it, and how communications is so important. I subsequently, after the meeting, wrote a letter or an email to the regional district saying communication is really important, and being able to hear what everyone's saying, whether you're online or in person, is really, really important.
Yeah.
The acoustics were
It's horrible.
horrible. The poor people that were online could not hear anything. And I said, you need to talk to our CAO about how to make a meeting so that everybody can hear what's going on and see the people. But it was a really good meeting. There was good representation from lots of different organizations there. So it was very, very interesting when you could hear what was being said.
You better hear it next when it's in Port Hardy.
Yeah, and it will be, but it should be, it just says professionally done there too.
Yeah.
So that was my only complaint about that. The labor market partnership project that the regional district is partnering with Strathcona Regional District and with the Campbell River City is winding down, so there should be a report in January coming out from that. I attended an Island Health local leaders meeting discussing our health situation up here, and still working on getting our ER open 24/7, and they are still on board with that. But right now it's recruiting of nurses is the most challenging thing, especially ER nurses. And the North Island is going to be doing something that's very unique in that when you are a graduating nurse, to work in an ER, you have to have a specialized ER course. And it's only offered in a couple different locations, and the North Island will be now one of the accredited locations. So they're starting to get more interest from nurses to come up here to get that training. So it's looking promising, still months away, but it's looking more promising. Attended a number of things with the seniors. The Christmas craft fair, even though the power was out, still went on, very well attended. As Councillor Tidbury said, there is a bake sale next Saturday with more baking. So if you want more Christmas baking, I did buy some. Unfortunately, we don't have anything left, but that's okay. I attended, MP Blaney's Christmas, tea and get together and, had a very interesting conversation with her husband about power. And then the next week, the power went out, so, he may be coming as a delegation at some point in the next few months about power. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I too attended a rep game, but I went to Port McNeil to attend the rep game. And it was the under 15s versus Vancouver Island Wild, which is a young women's team. And there's 3 local young women that play on that team. So first time they've played in the North Island. They had a game scheduled for the Saturday. They were so disappointed that it was canceled. So I was getting multiple texts from them in the evening asking, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And anyways, so it was nice that they could play. They were super excited and they made the best use of their time up here. But to have 3 young women from up here that traveled down island to play all the time, it was nice that they were playing locally in the North Island. The seniors Christmas lunch at, dinner at the Qualis Hotel was very well attended and very delicious food and very well organized. And it was a lot of fun. So it was great. I think they had 112 people for their lunch, dinner. And yeah, so it's great. Reminder, December 14th, the Festival of Lights starts at 5 o'clock. And counselors, remember, they want everyone to say a few words about what Christmas means to you. And then at 6 o'clock up at the high school, they're doing a Christmas play and music and things like that. So there's things going on. And that's it. But if the Rotary has to move their dates, it will not break my heart because it will be one of the first Rotary parades I'd have to miss because I'm not in town on Friday. So it would be nice for me, but it would be disappointing.
Hopefully it goes forward, whatever date.
Yes, I agree.
I'm good
Okay.
until the 24th and then I go down island. No, I know, it's gonna be before, so I'm good.
We're all good.
Okay, motion to adjourn, Councilor Robertson. Questions pertaining to the agenda? Any questions?
I've just noticed, Mayor, in the last 4 meetings, there's a